I hope I'm live. Looks like it's just me today. Uh, Assuming I'm live. Uh, Welcome to DCL Primetime. Your host, Parthiv Mehta, is running about 10 to 15 minutes late. Our guest host, Vijay Shanmugam, is also running 10 to 15 minutes late. And so that leaves only me. And for those of you wondering if Gaba is going to make an appearance on this show, the answer is yes. He has some family function which he's attending to, but he's certainly not chickening out. He's certainly going to come and face the music. He's going to come, especially when we cover the game between Stars and Titans. So that will be the plan of action today. But before we even get into anything, I think it's better that I cover some salient points which many people are probably not aware of. One is about empire allocation, because apparently, especially in Division 2, there have been some horrendous calls where people haven't got the best empires in the business, and the games were certainly compromised in some measure. And some teams might even feel that they lost because of bad umpiring. So with that in mind, let me say that uh, when it comes to playoff umpiring, or actually regular umpiring, when you have two neutral umpires, we're talking about two neutral umpires. Both umpires are of same rank. I believe in the past week, we had one umpire saying that he's going to do all the main umpiring, or he did most of the main umpiring, 75% of the main umpiring, because he felt that that's what he wanted to do. Apparently, the teams did not know that they can object to that, but they should have objected to it, because they did suffer at the hands of the umpire. So let's understand something basics. Every umpire is supposed to change at the end of every over. That's the DCL rule. Now, I do know that during the regular season, some umpires will come and say, hey, I'll do 5 overs, and then the other umpire will do 5 overs, and we'll just alternate. And many times we have let that go, but that doesn't mean that that is the norm for a number of reasons. One is, if one umpire number one starts in the umpiring in the first innings with the first 5 overs, he gets to umpire 15 overs, whereas umpire number 2 only umpires 10 overs. Now, if umpire number 2 starts, logically speaking, with the first 5 overs in the innings number 2, then what's going to happen is that umpire number 2 has umpired 15 overs in the second innings, while umpire number 1 has only umpired 10 overs. Now, let's assume that umpire 1 is very lenient with LBWs, and umpire 2 likes to lift his finger every time there is an appeal. You can be very sure whoever got 15 overs of that umpire is going to be at the short end of the stick. This is why we want the umpires to clearly try to even up the tally, and the easiest way to do that is make a switch at the end of every over. If you go and look at last year's DCL final, you'll find that both Pankaj Watts and Mahesh Mutiala alternated at the end of every over. Sure, they have to walk up and down, but that goes without saying. But having said that, whoever umpired the first over in the first innings should umpire the first over in the second innings, and that way you would get exactly the same kind of umpiring. So that is with regards to umpiring. The second thing is with regards to ground allocation. Now, I do know that some teams, including Glads, we all like to play in some grounds which we are comfortable with, which we like. But at this point, I think the process needs to be transparent. So this is more for the DCL committee. They cannot do this behind closed doors, because some of their players or the committee members are still, or their teams are still in the playoffs, and maybe in the committee itself, they might be having 2 members in the committee. So the only right thing is the people who are whose committee members are whose teammates are still in the committee, they need to step out of the process. The others in the committee needs to step up. They need to be the statesmen. They need to step up and take the equation and handle the bull by the horn. They need to decide, okay, if we have been playing at DSP and Novi Power Park and Keith, whatever grounds were being allocated so far, all those grounds should be made available and then randomized. And wherever the randomization falls, that's where it falls. Otherwise, it would be unfair to Stars. It would be unfair to Glads. It would be unfair to who's the Division 2 teams which are playing. And if only somebody in the committee then decided, hey, we are going to play in this particular ground. We want to eliminate all possibilities of any chance of a compromise by making this process public, by saying, you know what, these are the grounds which we have used in the pre-quarter final, and we're going to make these same grounds available. And if everybody agrees that one ground should be removed from the equation, then that's a different ball game. But as long as you don't have consensus among the 4 teams left in the semifinals, and the same thing with regards to Division 2, you have to make all the grounds available, randomize it, and then wherever the randomizer throws it, that's where it comes out. And that way, nobody can point a finger at the committee. Otherwise, what you're going to have is you're going to have people pointing a finger saying that, you know what, somebody got something done in a particular way because they wanted a certain advantage because they preferred to play at a particular ground. If you ask me, yes, we would like to play at a certain ground, but at the same time, as long as the process is fair, wherever the randomizer spits it out, that's where it spits it out, and that's where we have to play, then that's where we have to play. So I just wanted to get that out of the equation because these are thorny issues. We have come to the business end of the playoffs are the business end of the equation. And, now we have come to the semi-final stage. Everybody has worked very hard and you want to get the best umpires, you want to get the best grounds, but at the same time, you want it to be fair. You don't want it to have any kind of offer any kind of advantage to any one person, irrespective of who that person might be. So I just wanted to get that out. Having said that, I think this weekend threw up some real stunners, and I'll just read out the results for you. We'll be covering those results. We'll be covering it in this particular order. We'll first go through Punjab Lions versus Rachia Riders, and then we'll cover Thunderbolts versus Phantoms, and then we'll take a look at Gujarat Warriors versus Local Boys. And we'll follow that with SSK versus RCD. And then on Division 1, we'll start with Pokeries versus Miles. And then we'll go and take a look at GLCC versus KRCC. And then we'll look at Glads versus Indust Thunders. And the final game, which we are going to cover at the request of Satish Gaba, we put that as the last game so that he can join, so that he can also be part of this equation where we would be asking him questions and he wouldn't be running away from the equation just because Titans lost the game. That's the right way to do it. Face the music. Wins and losses happen. I think if you play a game, it is imperative, it is obvious that some team is going to win and some team is going to lose. Just because a team lost doesn't make that a bad team. Just because team won doesn't make that a superior team. It just so happens on that particular day, the team which won outplayed the team which lost. It's only as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm sure, yes, we as human beings would like to probably enjoy it or feel sad about it. But at the same time, there are things which we can learn from our losses and from our wins. Let's try to understand that this same equation could have turned around, and we could have been on the other end. And trust me, I have been in the same situation where Gaba finds himself in right now, wherein we were the number one team. We went out, we dominated the regular season, we go out into the playoffs. Very first game in the pre-quarterfinals, we lose to Strikers. But I remember on that day, I came out and faced the music because that's what it is. If we lost, we lost. Now, you know what? Let's just address the questions, whatever the questions might be. and address it as fairly and as truthfully as possible. I believe there is a great therapeutic value in doing something like that. So the final game we'll be covering is Stars versus Titans for the reason which I just now mentioned. I still see that despite about 13 minutes past, our friends have not joined. And this, I was hoping that at least one of them would have joined. I'm going to start with this thing because we can't waste time because somebody is not here on time. So let's start with the first game. We're going to look at Punjab Lions versus Rachia Riders. In this game, Lions won the toss and elected to bat. I'll tell you one thing. It was the Prithpal Monday and the Guri Tiwana show because Prithpal scored 24 in 36 balls. He had two huge sixes there. And then Guri, he scored 24. Both of them scored 24, but one guy took 36 balls. Guri took only 18 balls. He had three huge sixes next to his name. And the score was 41 for 1 when the first wicket fell. And the second wicket fell very shortly after that, 49 for 2. And then the Lions just folded because from 49 to 2, it went to 88 all out. Now, if you look at the scorecard, you'll find that Rachia Riders did some extremely disciplined bowling. They gave only 5 extras. The Lions, with this win, now the fact that all 4 of these teams which are left, they're going to move into Division 1 next year. So I want to congratulate the Lions for Gurdeep and the Lions for making it into Division 1. But I think when you look at it, there were some individual good pieces in their batting. And but definitely it was the Prithpal show and the Guri show. They did a fabulous job. I think that opening partnership set up the massive, or let's say the win against Rachia Riders in a critical game. With regards to Rachia Riders, I think Anuj Kaushik was fabulous with the ball. All right. He was fabulous with the bat a couple of games ago, or was it the last game? I forget. But one of the games, he was absolutely fabulous. But I think the Rachia Riders got done in by some shoddy umpiring. I believe their openers, I believe his name is Saicharan Pulluri. I think he really got a bad call because I had a chance to look at the review that video, and clearly the impact was outside the off stump. The ball was definitely hitting him outside the off stump, and he had offered a shot. And since he had offered a shot, the very rules of LBW ensure that he should be declared not out because he had offered a shot. It was not that no shot was offered, and the impact was outside the off stump. Now, in this game, it was very interesting. Apparently, Vaibhav Tyagi hardly umpired anything. And when you have a top order batsman like Pulluri get out to a bad call, because remember, in 12 matches, he has scored 113 runs. So this is one of their corner pieces. And when he gets out, that's a huge call going in favor of the opposition. Milind umpired most of the game, but I would say that Milind got this call wrong. Now, I do understand that umpires are human. I do not believe it is deliberate, but at the same time, I do believe that in this case, it would have been good if he had got this call right, because this is one of their top line batsmen. Now, I do believe that when I saw a little bit of the video, I did see Gauri, their other opener bat. He's a very decent left-handed batsman. I think Gauri got out because there was a beautiful catch taken by Guri again. So the man was all over the place. He not only put on a show with the bat, but with this catch, he did a fantastic catch to get rid of the other opener. Divya Pandey, if you ask me, I personally felt our Rachia Riders need to promote him a little up the order. I think I saw him bat. Yeah, I believe he remained undefeated, and really no reason why he should have run out of partners. And maybe if he had come, maybe a couple of batsmen up the order, he probably could have this thing. Anuj has the patience of a saint, let me tell you. I do not have that kind of patience, and I admire the man has that kind of patience to stay at the wicket. But this time, excuse me, This time, it did not work out in his favor. He did not reach double figures. I do believe that the skipper, Amarnath, is a class batsman, I believe. Again, 13 matches, 116 runs. But if you want to figure out the class of a batsman, go and watch the video which they have of the Russia Riders innings and look at over number 4.1, the very first ball of the fifth over, and you will see a class shot, an absolute pitch perfect class of a shot. It was a treat to watch. I do believe that Milind ate one wicket for sure, and that was the wicket of Saichur and Puluri. But the Russia Riders did feel that the last man was also given out, and that was also a very questionable call. I kind of looked at that call, and I was not 100% convinced about that. I think that I would give the benefit to the umpire. The batsman had a tendency to shuffle forward and always be in the middle stump. In that case, too, it was hitting him pretty much on the full. And the tendency, unlike Divya Pandey, who was standing well outside the leg stump, the batsman who was given out tended to play more on the leg stump and middle stump. And I feel the umpire might have got that one right. But yeah, I think I understand what Russia Riders are saying. Oh, it's the last wicket, and the umpire should be more careful. Well, just because it's the last wicket doesn't mean that an out should be given as not out. If the umpire is there for a certain reason, and if he feels that it is out, then he should give it out. So I think I'm not so sure if Milind got that one wrong, but I do think Milind got the first one on Saicharan definitely wrong. No doubt about it. Very clear evidence on that. The video evidence very clearly points towards that. But all in all, it was a good game by Punjab Lions. I congratulate them. I think Russia Riders, I think they played some very competitive cricket, especially for a first-year team. And I want to give them all the kudos for that and wish them all the luck in the off-season. Hopefully we'll see them back next year, and hopefully there will be a more improved team. Too bad that they missed out making Division 1. But maybe one more year in Division 2, they'll learn all the nuances of umpiring and what they need to look out for, and why their skipper did not insist that the umpires rotate every over. Obviously, I think the skipper did not know that he can insist that. But now that he's part of the WhatsApp group and this discussion, I don't know if he's a part of it, but his teammate definitely is a part of that group. So I'm sure they'll learn from this and realize that there are certain nuances that if they are aware of, they probably can turn a loss into a win just by being aware of the rules. So that covers Punjab Lions versus Russia Riders. We'll move on to the next game. It is Thunderbolts versus Phantoms. I do not know if it looks like Vijay Shanmugam joined, but I do not. Hey, you want to turn your video on so that we can see you?
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, my kids are here. Give me one minute, okay?
All right, take your time, buddy, and hopefully you can join soon. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Thunderbolts versus Phantom. I think this was another game where the Phantom skipper was also unhappy with the standard of umpiring. In fact, in his game, the Phantom skipper Rajesh did say that after a run out, the umpire basically said, "Okay, now where does the new batsman go and stand?" He was not even aware, and he was like, "Well, I only come and play the game. I don't know the rules that much." And so you can understand the standard of umpiring which is going on. And this only gets worse because when we get to the Gujarat Warriors game, I think you'll see an absolutely horrendous call. If Parthiv can get his video going at that time, we'll see an absolutely flagrant call, which I have no idea. Ball which should have been declared no ball was given out LBW, but I would have been fuming through my nostrils, and smoke would have been coming out of my ears if that had happened to me. So I can understand how the Warriors might be feeling. But nevertheless, Thunderbolts versus Phantom, it was another game where, again, I think it was the Avi and Guru show. And now Many of you know that we are a little partial towards Avinash Raghu. He's a friend of the show. He was one of the first hosts of the show. So we always have a soft corner for him. On a day when Deepak Bhaskaran failed with the bat, he never fails with the ball. But time and time again, once in a while, he does fail with the bat. And this was one such occasion where he failed with the bat. But this is where Avi's value of staying at the wicket ensured that the Thunderbolts batted 25 overs. I think a one-down batsman should be able to absorb pressure. He should be able to hold one end up, and he should get his team to a comfortable total before he departs. And Avi checked all the boxes on that one. The Phantoms bowling is good. If you look at it, you'll find that they only gave 9 extras. Sandeep, Rohit, Rajesh, and Prithvi all bowled great. And all Avi had to do was just stay there and consolidate. And that's exactly what he did. So in the face of some good bowling by the Phantoms, you find that Avi did his job. He stayed and consolidated. Guru was fantastic. He scored 27 in 27 balls. He did just exactly what the doctor ordered. 2 sixes next to his name. I want to congratulate the Thunderbolts on making it into Division 1, because every team which won makes it into Division 1. But when it comes to Phantoms, Partha, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Looks like you want to show your flexed muscles today. Well, I'm sure somebody from the opposite sex might get impressed. I do not know. But I do not know. Well, let's hope Vijay Shanmugam is not showing his muscles. I certainly am not showing it because I have none. But coming to Phantoms, I wanted to say that Rohit Venkatesh was absolutely the find of the season. If you look at the Phantoms record, you'll find that they started the season horribly. In fact, some of my bad record could be attributed to Phantoms losing all those early games, because here I was picking Phantoms week after week, and every week I was having mud thrown on my face. By about, I think, week 5, I gave up on the Phantoms and I said, well, this is a lost cause. I'm just going to become wiser and I'm not picking them anymore. I'm going to pick the opposite this thing. And then they started winning. So these guys went 1-4. And at that point, Partha, if you ask me, most teams would have given up. But there is no give up in the Phantoms' DNA. They went from 1-4 and they went 6 games on the trot, 6 on the trot, 6 straight. And all of a sudden, their record went from 1-4 to 7-4. I believe that during that stretch, Rajesh led masterfully, and Rohit was simply the man on whom they leaned to carry them through. The Thunderbolts game was close. You look at it and you'll see that Teja and Prithvi made a game out of it. Maybe Rajesh should have batted a little up the order, because he has scored 92 runs in the season at a 9.2 average, which is nothing to sneeze at. But if you ask me, Phantoms played the game in right spirit. I have a lot of respect for that team. I think they are a fantastic addition to DCL. And it starts with the skipper. The skipper himself is a class act. So when a team does well, look no further than the leadership. The leadership is usually should bear the credit for it, as we rightly blame the leadership when things go south. But when you talk about the Phantoms, I want you to meet the Fab 5 when it comes to batting. It is Rohit, 171 runs. Then they have a guy called Nitin, and we have not talked much about him on the show. And I'll tell you why we probably haven't talked much about him on the show, because we cover only 2 or 3 games of the Division 2 on any given week. So unless a game really catches our eye, we are not discussing that game. So, but now that we are covering every Division 2 game in the playoffs, Nitin scored 169 runs. That's just 2 runs short of Rohit. But here is the beauty of it. I went holy moly when I looked at the strike rate now. Strike rate is 136.29, Parthiv. And all I could say is, holy moly, what a strike rate. I would like to see him bat someday, because that catches my eye. Simply the stat is what caught my eye.
But surprising,
go ahead.
Surprising enough, he didn't play in the quarterfinal. So Not sure as to why he wasn't available. Looking at the stat which you just talked about,
Yeah,
he would be a four-shot starter in any
yeah,
11.
yeah, and probably availability might have been an issue. Who knows? But I was since Phantom season is done, all I was trying to do was shine the spotlight on the guys who really made it great for Phantom during the regular season. So with the bat, there I found a fabulous five, and Rohit, Nitin. The next guy is Teju. He scored 143, and his strike rate is also 83. So he was another fantastic addition to their batting team or a mainstay. And then you have Sandeep, who scored 137, and then Rajesh scored 92. And Rajesh scoring probably would have scored more, but oftentimes I see that he pushes himself down the order, so that's probably why. But when you have these five guys, that's a lot of runs which you're getting. That's almost 500, 550, 600 runs right there, or well, more than 600 runs. So that's pretty amazing that you have five guys like that. That's probably explains the Phantom's turnaround. But when it comes to bowling, they have a fabulous four. There again, you have Rohit. Well, Rohit is there everywhere. So he is 25 wickets. Then you have Ranjit, who has taken 19 wickets. Sandeep has taken 17 wickets. And Rajesh has taken 16 wickets. I don't think even Glads has that kind of stat. I can be honest with you. I don't think we have anywhere close to the five batsmen with this kind of records, nor do we have anybody who has taken 25 wickets or even 19 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. So, but the super three is Rohit, Rajesh, and Sandeep. They're there both in the batting as well as the bowling. So, as they are done with the season, I wanted to wish them all the best of luck in the off season. We hope to see them back next year, but they are a fabulous bunch of guys, and I wish nothing but the best for all of them. Any thoughts to add to this, Parthu? And after this game is covered, I'm going to let you
Yep.
do your hosting duties.
Yep.
And after you're done, I want to ask Vijay if he had anything to offer.
Sure. Yep. Thank you for covering me. I was on my way, so apologies for the delay in joining the call. But yeah, I just wanted to add, until last year, I think a couple of seasons ago, Phantoms were like the whipping boys of DCL. They practically lost. They, along with, I think, Dark Horses, barely got a win or two in the season. So this is a quite a big leap for them, getting 7 wins in a season. And I'm hoping that next year, with the likes of you mentioned Rohit and Nitin and some of the other guys, they are going to be definitely one of the strong teams in Division Two. So yes, I just wanted to add congratulations to them for having a fabulous season, a great improvement from the previous seasons, and looking forward to more of Phantoms. And I echo the same sentiments you have. Rajesh conducts the team really well, and every time we've played or we've heard from people who've played Phantoms, they've always had good things to talk. So that's kudos to adding to the not only this just the skills, but the way they conduct on the field as well. So congratulations, Phantoms. Yes, Vijay, would like to add anything more to this game?
Can't hear you, Vijay.
Vijay, you're on
Vijay,
mute.
we
He's on
can't hear
mute.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year, if you look at Phantoms, their batting, their top five was not even this top five. They had a different set of people. So whatever Rajesh is doing to recruit these guys, I think it's really working out. Given they are in the Greater Troy area where there's a lot of cricket happening compared to where we play here in the Farmington area. So I think very, very strong recruitment. I think even the game they were almost close to win this, pull it off. I think they were just 2 wickets away from winning this, but unfortunately, good bowling from Thunderbolts, made sure that they didn't go through. But overall, I think they have good talent, young talent coming in. I think they will be one of the teams to watch out for in the next year in DCL too. And again, hard luck, and it was Thunderbolts was a little bit more stronger this year than Phantoms. But kudos to Rajesh for putting I think he had a depleted roster. He went and recruited some good talent, and they contributed. So that's part of the
So
thing.
Vijay, last year to this year, did he lose some of these players to other teams, or did they just migrate and go somewhere else? In which case, there's nothing much he can do about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing Krishna, Sadula, Jafar Mohammed, Surya Archan, Nisthala, Sandeep Guru. So that's their top batting performances. And then, Rajesh was a bowling performance. But I don't see any of these new guys in last year's batting or bowling. So who were...
No, what about last year's guys? Are they on some other team? Is that why?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, since you brought that up, I just thought I'll just ask in case you knew it.
Right? Yeah, could be.
Okay. Well, if he lost it because they moved out of state, that's a totally different issue. I mean, there's nothing, any skipper can do anything about it. But if he lost some of these, I mean, if he lost Rohit Venkatesh to, I don't know, some other team out there, then that's a loss, right? So hopefully he doesn't. He can hold on to his players. He's a genuinely good guy. So I hope his players stay with him.
No, I've seen Phantoms games, and Rajesh is very intensive with his team. I've seen a couple of games where he goes to the dugout and he's trying to motivate the team. He's like doing everything he can, right, as a leader. So I think last year they had a little bit tough matches. I think this year, probably they found their groove.
Yep. And I think being in Division 2 has given them that right incubation period where they can grow this talent. I think now, maybe next year, we might see them in Division 1 if they hold on to their talent and, bring some more as well. So, yeah. All right, let's go on to the next game. The next game was a shocker. And just like the Division 1 where we had the top team collapse, we had that same thing happen to Gujarat Warriors in Division 2 as well. Gujarat Warriors losing to the local boys. And this was a really, really close contest. If you look at the scorecard, if you've analyzed and looked at it, it was the last 2 overs that turned the tide for local boys, and credit should be given to their batsman Satyajit Das. I think his innings of 40 was the difference maker. He led the batting till the end, and it was his wicket that gave the hope back to Warriors that they could snatch it in. But it was that big six from Dinesh that sealed the game for them. But this game was also in a lot of discussion and talks because of the umpiring decisions that have come to surface. A horrendous call that we've all been sent video for Gopal Patel. That was a shocker, a horror. And considering the importance of this game and the importance of that player itself, that was a shocker. Not only was it a no ball, but it was given LBW, which was even more shocking. And that does impact the game because, your premier player, your opener, is out. And that definitely puts a dent to your plan.
Partha, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think the entire DCL audience needs to see. I sent you the link. Are you able to play it?
I need to. Okay, let me. I'll bring it up. Why don't you guys go ahead?
When you go ahead and finish it. Maybe when I'm covering my side at that point, you can bring it up. How does that sound? Okay,
that sounds good. That sounds good. Yep. Yeah. So I was going to push it on to you quickly as well, because I thought this game was the best game of Division 2 in terms of, not only were the top two teams competing, but it went to the last over and that huge six. 20 runs were scored in those last 2 overs chasing, and that is, a great achievement by local boys, keeping their nerves. Yes, decisions went in favor of them, but then eventually they had to get those runs. 98 is no mean achievement to get in a playoff game. So local boys, again, congratulations to them. They move into Division 1 with this big win. And it's very unfortunate, Gujarat Warriors from the very get-go this season were the number 1 ranked team, hot favorites to come into Division 1, and they slip up in the playoffs. This is going to bite them really hard. I hope that they get over it soon and get them back together for another season next year. So yes, Viju, over to you.
Parthiv, for me, this was the shocker of the season. This was the only undefeated team in DCL in both divisions. But Division 1 is very difficult to be undefeated. But in Division 2, they were the only undefeated team. Many of us thought they were an automatic shoe-in to Division 1. And they aced the regular season. All right, the regular season test, they aced it, but they flunked the playoff exam. Now, if you ask me, Gujarat Warriors snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, because despite this bad umpiring call, I still think Chintan Patel made a massive blunder. I'll get to that in a minute. Local boys needed 9 runs off the last over, and you have the last pair at the crease. 1 more wicket and the game is over. And in comes Prakash Chowdhury, who had figures of 4 overs, 19 runs and 1 wicket, which, if you ask me, were a lot more expensive because Chintan Patel had 2 bowlers. Actually, if you add Chintan also to the mix, he had 3 bowlers at his disposal. Gopal Patel had figures of 4 overs, 11 runs and 1 wicket. And Bhavin had 3 overs, 8 runs and 1 wicket.
Mm-hmm.
If I was the Gujarat Warriors skipper, I would have definitely gone to Gopal Patel. Number of reasons. 1, he's a pretty accurate bowler. 2nd, he's fit as a fiddle. He might be a little older than other guys, but he is extremely fit. And he has tremendous heart. He loves to win. So when you have that kind of a player, you disregard him and you go to Prakash. Well, Prakash went from 4 overs, 19 runs, 1 wicket to 4.5 overs, 29 runs. He gave 10 runs in that over, needing 9. Well, the local boys scored 10. If you ask me, in this game, what reminded me of in this game was last week. If you ask me, Dinesh Mentada did a Deepak Kuniyal.
Yep.
DM did a DU. That's exactly what he did. All right. DM scored 2 runs of the first ball, then a single. And now this is where I have to really give credit to the last batsman, Prashanta. He scored a single of the 3rd ball. The 4th ball is a dot. And then comes the maximum 6. Game over. Gujarat Warriors, rest in peace. Mic drop moment. Bat drop moment for local boys. But if you ask me, local boys, all this would not have been happening but for one man. Satyajit Das batted like a lion. He batted like a lion, Lytton Das. And I'm sure you guys know of Lytton Das, right?
Yep.
Well, if you ask me, this is more accurately, I think you should call this Satyajit Das the superlative Das, because the biggest upset in Division 2 would not have happened but for his impressive innings with the bat. At the beginning of the season, I told you guys we had discussed which 4 teams. I had local boys in the last 4. But when I saw that local boys were running into Gujarat Warriors, I didn't think they will make it because Gujarat Warriors were undefeated. But I do not know what it is. Maybe it is the bye-week bug because they sat idle. And I have a feeling, if you look at it, all these teams which did not play the bye week, many of them, with the exception of Pokeries, got upset. Parthiv, Vijay, how do you explain the very high percentage of these super high-ranked teams? Number 1, overall number 1, overall number 2, overall number 1 in both divisions have been shown the door. And yes, the other team played well. Well, it's the playoffs. What do you expect? Do you expect that they're going to roll over and die? No, that's not going to happen. So somehow this bye week has not helped them. In fact, I think it was a curse more than a blessing. How do you guys see it? And then after that, maybe you can also bring in this umpiring business where Gopal Patel, I felt, was absolutely done in by a absolutely horrendous call. This umpire really needs to stop umpiring. Please do everyone a favor and stop umpiring. You shouldn't be going for any more umpiring games. Because if you do not understand basics of cricket about what is a no ball and what is the height of a ball, I'm not sure what you're going out there. You're messing up everybody's happiness. This was this is their best player. If you ask me, if I had to pick one player from Gujarat Warriors, I would pick Gopal Patel. Because one, he's a left-hander, and two, he's a fantastic batsman.
Yep. I think absolutely. There's always going to be that debate because there are pros and cons as of being the top seed. You do get to play one less game, and every game that you can avoid in a playoff, because in playoffs anybody can beat really anyone. So that is the advantage that we provided to the top teams, where they go directly into the quarterfinals. So you have to play one less playoff game. But yes, I think the timing probably were accentuated because of the long weekend. You had one additional week apart from not playing the 1 week of games. So combined with that, that 3 week gap, probably if it was probably 2 weeks, maybe it would have been different. But in both cases, I mean, in Gujarat Warriors, I think it was a close game, but Titans, we'll come to that game. I don't think the Titans are a 15 all-out team. So if that is given as a reason for their defeat, I do not buy that. That 3 week gap resulted in them playing so poorly. So I do see that teams would like to play and would like to continue the momentum, but again, probably not an excuse for this horror show from Titans when we get there. But and something we can debate. I think this was something which we thought rewarded the teams topping their groups and their league, their division. But maybe something we need to think about. If captains feel like they would rather play more of the playoffs, we can bring it back to the drawing table.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's worth a rethink because I honestly feel it's fool's gold. Basically, because I have been in that situation, and I'll tell you what: the long weekend, and then you have this bye week, and I'll tell you where it becomes even worse. Suppose you have umpiring the previous week, all right, and it so happens because it's a randomized schedule, right? It could happen that all of a sudden you are having. Then you might not have played for almost 3-4 weeks. You get my point, and all of a sudden you come. And again, Partha, we have gone over this. Glads run into strikers usually in the beginning of the season. We're all rusty and we have a lot of problems running into this thing. I hate it because before I know anything, we haven't figured a lot of things out. But I just feel that I mean, if you ask me, if you give me my full team, I would rather play and win than take a bye week. Simply because I am in the groove. And I think I had a chance to talk to Hari Parankosam too. And Hari told exactly the same thing, that he came out of adversity. And for us, actually, our playoffs started 1 week earlier. We had to win to get into the playoffs. So we were already in playoff mood. And then that just continued on, kind of a thing. Both Stars as well as Glads, that's exactly what happened. But your thoughts, Vijay, before we might want to show the video, and then Vijay, you can chime in on what do you think about this call? Obviously, I feel it's a horrendous call.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah, it
play
was
that.
a really bad call. I don't know in which angle the umpire was seeing this.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, let me play it again. Yep. Yeah, that again, this call, I mean, it's so obvious. I don't know how the umpires didn't see it, even from the straight angle. I mean, it would have been even apparently uh, clear on the side angle. I'm pretty sure if you had the side angle view, even the straight angle looked like it was way above the waist. And to add to that, as I said, giving it out LBW is just an icing on the cake. It's like, I mean, you can't get a more horrendous call than this.
I
Yeah, I
think,
mean, Vijay, you had some similar experience too, right? Some high ball, no ball, not called, or something like that. Was
yeah,
this worse than that?
uh, well, this is worse. Yeah,
Okay.
this looks
So,
worse.
and I know that when you got the call, you were so mad and you were real upset, and you felt that the umpire really hosed you in and things like that. I mean, I did not get the call, but nevertheless, this thing is,
I think the one thing also is like how fast the umpire was making those decisions. He didn't even think second, like to
No,
give
I
it.
mean,
yeah.
in this case, at least there was a lot of. I mean, if you look at the after effects or after the the after play of there was a lot of discussion. A lot of the fielders
Yeah,
were around the umpire, and I'm seeing that the leg umpire and the main umpire talk, and then they give it out. When in fact, I mean, I'm surprised that local boys even appealed for an LBW here, because I'm sure the discussion is more around. I think if I was the keeper or I was the captain, I would be more concerned that whether it's a no ball or not. I wouldn't even think about an LBW here. So it's incredible that they actually thought and appealed for an LBW here. But you
Yeah.
can't blame the fielding team, because they have every right to appeal. And I mean, I'm pretty sure anything that hits the body, your arms and your voice does go up. So there's no complaint there from local boys perspective. But yeah, it was just a very bad call, and at the wrong time, at the with the wrong batsman. So everything combined, it was just a match defining moment.
And Avi brings up a point which is interesting, and again I bring that up because we are trying to educate the public too. And the question which he said is, the thing is, would it have hit the stumps had the batsman ducked or evaded the ball? Well, the answer to that question is the rule book is very clear. If you're standing upright and the ball is over your waist, in this case it was over the waist,
Yep.
then automatically it's a no ball. Standing at the crease in an upright position, and if the ball is above the waist, there is no question of whether it is going to hit the wicket or not. Well, it is a no ball. Simple as that, you see. So I do believe that I think the umpires got it wrong because they probably do not know the no ball rule. So, first of all, it should have been declared a no ball, and then it should have been given a free hit, which Gopal Patel probably would have hit for 2 or a 4 or a 6. Well, in this game, when it became this close, and then if Gopal Patel survives, you know how many games Gopal Patel has won single handedly. All that was taken away from the Gujarat Warriors. I think the Gujarat Warriors got the worst end of the umpiring stick uh, this weekend.
Yeah.
And Avi does thank us for correcting on the rule portion of it, which the rule is very clear. It is exactly as I have said it. Go and look it up in the rule book. You'll find that what I'm telling you is 100% true.
Absolutely. And then Gopal Patel, just to add to his fabulous season, he scored around 200 runs with 250s, and I think there was a century, wasn't there? If I'm not mistaken.
Just missed a
Thank you.
century. Just
Yeah.
missed a century. Yep, 91 or 92 or something like that. No, 95 or something like that. He was
Right.
very close to a century. In fact,
Yep.
I was following that going just to see if he'll hit the century.
Right. So him along with Salman, they
Oh
both
no,
were
Salman was the guy who was very close to the century, and Gopal was also in the 80s or 90s, something
correct.
close to
Yeah,
that.
they had a
Yes,
huge partnership. I remember. I don't know. Remember which game it was.
175 runs.
Correct.
175 runs, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So yeah, both of them have had a fabulous season, and Gujarat Warriors, have had a fabulous season this year in Division Two, And like you said, we were all expecting them to come to Division One pretty unscathed. And it's very unfortunate that this loss is now going to bring them back into Division One. Also, I feel, I hope that Chintan and Gopal Patel are able to retain some of their players, because this is pretty disheartening. And now that Gujarat Warriors, have achieved this success, I'm pretty sure a lot of captains and a lot of players would be looked into to see if they want to jump the ship and come into Division One. So they have to be careful. Just a reminder that their players are definitely are being watched.
I think they're a close knit group of guys, so I think they will be fine. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to the next game. The next game was the SSK and Royal Challengers Detroit. Now, SSK was another team, just like Warriors, where we were, expecting them to be pretty easy scaling into Division One, and I think they've held on to that expectation. And with the change in leadership from last year, where we had Lingappan lead SSK, and they were promising but not threatening. But this year in Division Two, they have been quite a team, and a team that everybody's been looking forward to into the next season when they come into Division One. But also, Royal Challengers Detroit, I think credit should be given to them as well. Their first season in in DCL, and they are able to reach the playoffs. So, congratulations to them. They do have a few players who have been in the DCL circuit for a long time. We talked about Arjun Chitamani, Nikhil Mulay, some of these guys we know and have come across them. But in this game, I think they fell short in their batting. I think 85 was a pretty much a par score in a playoff. That's something that we've seen from time to time. It's always around that 80 to 90. So SSK did a good job in posting a challenging total, but the batting of Royal Challengers Detroit just failed. So I'd like to maybe change a little bit. Maybe Viju, if I want to go first with Vijay, give him
Yeah,
the first
sure.
word.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Vijay,
think
go ahead.
I predicted SSK to win mainly because of how they have a balanced team this year. From what I'm seeing, they lost so many people, right? Remember this, right?
Yep.
They lost some people to Gujarat Titans. They lost to Pokeries, and still able to get good players, right? I see Ravidev Chalanti back in the squad again, and they changed the leadership to Sai Prakash, and they added few pieces that can play along with each other. And I think this is a much more balanced unit compared to Royal Challengers. I mean, Royals were more relied on Arjun and two other people. So if you look at their overall, batting lineup, they are heavy on the top, right? So I think the SSK bowling, like Manjunatha, 5 wickets for 5 runs in 5 overs in a playoff. That's a big performance, man. It's a big
Yep.
performance from him. I think the bowlers were like on fire yesterday or last weekend. And I don't think Royal Challengers was any threat to SSK by any means. So it's going to be a good matchup for SSK. I think they're facing Thunderbolts. So
Yep.
it will be the old rivals coming back again.
They know each other quite well, right?
Yeah.
Any bad blood between those guys?
No, I think it's all mutual respect. But again, there's Lingappan is not there, so hopefully there won't be any controversies.
Okay. Well, I think skipper Sai Prakash Masarani has done a fabulous job with SSK. So all the success of SSK can be chalked to that one man. I think RCD, well, I think it was a decent season, right? I mean, anytime you make the playoffs, it's a decent season. Arjun Chittamani, 20 out of 32 balls. But he got run out, Parthav. He got run out. That is the kiss of death. When your main batsman gets run out, just like when we get to the Glads versus Indus Thunders game, Ronak Patel got run out. And guess what? I did not dance on my head, but if I could have danced on my head, I would have danced on my head. All right. So anytime a key batsman like that gets out, I mean, you know that you have got a cheap one. So I think that really did not help. Raj Kunde, 9 and 18 balls. But I believe Manju is the Yatapu Express, Vijay. He's the Yatapu Express. 5 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs, 5 wickets. You have the Rawalpindi Express, and now you have the Yatapu Express. And the Yatapu Express had help. Sai Sriya, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 6 runs, 1 wicket. I mean, those two guys were the main guys. All the others also bowled well, but these two guys had fabulous, outstanding figures. I think SSK's batting, Venkat Reddy, 14 runs, Sai Masrani, 10 runs, Tejeshwar, 12, and Sai Sriya, 11 runs in 8 balls. I think for Pratik Girish for RCD had good figures, but not Yatapu figures. All right. Pratik had 5 overs, 1 maiden, 11 runs, 3 wickets. That's usually good enough to get the job done on most days. But when the opponent has the Yatapu Express on their team, well, it's a real problem. So congrats to SSK. Hard luck to RCD. RCD still remains in Division 2. SSK moves on to Division 1. Congrats to them. I do believe that they can make some damage in Division 1 next year on their given day. And, and many of these teams, when they move to Division 1, they might be able to attract some new talent too, because there will be people who say, okay, I'd like to stay still in Division 1. Maybe if I go to SSK, I have a bigger role to play there. So we'll see.
Mute. Hey, Parthu, you're on mute.
Yeah, one common thing that I've seen in several of these playoff games, even last week, was, that crucial 10, 12, 15 runs towards the end, that partnership, the 7th, 8th wicket. That's why in DCL, I think one of the things that I always tell even my team is there are no tail enders, really, because everybody can bat, everybody can bowl decently. I won't say, everybody is like your top 5 batter or top 5 bowler, but those significant contributions, even in this case, those significant contributions towards the end that pushes pushes that total to from 60s to 80s, makes a hell of a lot big difference. And I think the SSK got that, that they were 8 for 62, and then they pushed the last couple of wickets, pushed it to 85. Those 20-30 runs made a big difference. And yeah, and that's a common trend that we see in a lot of these games towards the playoff is, every run counts, and every 10-15 runs you contribute is going to add to the total being competitive in the playoff games. All right. I think those were all the games for Division 2. Again, a big congratulations to all the teams in Division 2 who are making it into Division 1 next year. But let's go on to Division 1 games. There were
First time we have done justice to Division 2 games. Part of 1 hour, we have covered
yes,
four division. So they got their fair share of the limelight this
yes.
time around. All right.
Yes. And to be honest, yeah, we haven't been able to cover a lot of the Division 2 games because time constraints, and we aren't able to cover like 20 odd games in the 2 hours. So we've limited ourselves to Division, but focusing on Division 1 mainly. But next year maybe we can find some other formula if there is one where we can provide a little more justice to Division 2 as well. But yeah, we'll try to kind of see if we can give more airtime to Division 2 as well. But let's go on to Pokeries versus the Miles game. This was a game that I think it was even Stevens, even in our amongst the analysts. I think even though I think Pokeries probably going into the game had a significant edge considering their past playoff performance this season as well. But MCC Miles were coming off a really great win over Red Devils. So the momentum, the adrenaline was all pumped up with Sanjay and the team. They were all cock a hoop the way they beat Red Devils, and everybody was talking about how MCC Miles pulled off a heist, and so this game became more and more interesting. But then I think this was another classic Pokeries game. They were able to get the batting. Their batting has always been the 80s, 90s, hundreds kind of thing. They've never really like been a batting team, but their bowling is what comes out. And you have your regular uh, folks from Pokeries. You have Saran and Aruns and the Vignesh. Those guys. If they are not performing with the bat, you're sure to see them with the ball, and this is exactly what happened. I mean, in this case, I think, like I talked about, I think the main uh, ingredient for Pokeries this year has been their spin attack, with the addition of Sudarshan, and they had Priyesh. I don't see Arvind Sabarish in this lineup, but they have his services also. I don't know whether they got him qualified or not, but I'll have
He's
to
not.
check.
He's not qualified.
Okay, so that is a miss, because I think he's also a very good addition, and I think that has made a big difference to the lineup. They already had Vignesh and Saran, and Neil doesn't bowl that much nowadays, but even the addition of Manoj Prabhakar, the guy who snatched victory from us. He's been a great addition as well. So this was in my books a very classic Pokeries victory. Score those 80-90 runs and then choke the opposition, where they aren't able to get much airtime. Even though I think the Miles did have a little bit of a recovery in the middle, but I think they were always behind the ball. So a great performance by Pokeries, and I think I'll probably stand by my prediction from the very get go, from the very season. I think I feel Pokeries this year might have, and they remember they also have the inside track to the finals, because we've talked about it. You have the champions track, and then you have the challengers track. They are in the challengers track, and so I see them see in the next round, when they compete against stars, they should be able to get through over stars as well. So yeah, Biju, over to you.
Yeah, you know what, Partha, before coming to me, Vijay Shanmugam is good friends with Sanjay Elangovan and the Miles. He's good friends with Ranjit and Pokeries. This is where we brought him in to give us the inside scoop, right? First of all, before even going to the inside scoop, I'm going to put Vijay Shanmugam on the spot, and I'm going to ask him a pointed question. No dodging the question, Vijay.
Yeah.
I don't like people who dodge questions, all right? Vijay.
Yes, sir.
Who are you rooting for? Miles or Pokeries? Who are you rooting for? Tell the truth.
Pokeries.
You were rooting for Pokeries?
Yes.
Why? That's the next question.
Well, a few things, right? I mean, Miles are a good team, but again, they found a way to come into take my spot in the division.
So, see, Parthav, this is what happens when you ask some pointed, very good questions. You see? All right, let's spice it up. Go on, Vijay.
So yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons that where we couldn't. Again, it was our fault too. We could have won one other game. We could have scored a couple other points. So again, it's a lot depends on it. But again, we got it close to the last week, where obviously going in, Indus were favorites to win that game, and we put in our heart and soul to win that last game against Legends, and then. I don't know how it was a parallel universe kind of a thing. I was looking at both the scores. How in the world that these two exact scores we do? Like after 15 overs, they were 90, we were 94, and they were very close to win. I mean, Indus were coming very close to win that game, and then they lost by 7 or 8 runs. So plucking my spot by 6 or 7 runs, it fumed me. And most of their players didn't come through, right? I mean, their players, if they had played, maybe Maulik and Ronak and all those guys played, it could have been a different contest. And it could have been a different matchups for Indus too if they have won that game. So again, a lot of momentum before they went into the bye week. I think that is kind of a destroyer. I think the cricket should be played on the field, right? In my
So
opinion.
you feel that Indus deliberately dropped that game?
I don't have any proof to saying that.
You don't have the proof. I said you feel. I didn't say that you have proof. You feel that way.
I feel like that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I mean, that's okay. But let me ask you this: what is Miles' fault in that, though? Miles had to win to survive. You know, it's just like Lads had to beat who was that? Canton Hurricanes.
Right.
We just wanted to be in the playoffs and not give strikers an opportunity. Simple as that. You see. So, I mean, it's you can't blame Parthiv can't blame me for wanting to preserve myself. I mean, if tomorrow I'm I'm in the river and I'm fighting for my life, I'm going to try to save my life, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was if you look at a matchup, if it was happened in the week 3, Indus versus Smile, who would you pick, right? Indus wanted to come.
Yeah, well, even in that week, I picked. I think I picked Miles, but that might be only because I've been either getting blessed by Miles or I have been getting burnt by Miles.
But then again, we are falling into the Pakistani way of how they've been in the last 3 or 4 World Cups. They've always been talking about weather, talking about if this team beats this team and this team beats this team, then we'll be in the finals. They call it the Kudrat Ka Nizam effect, where they are always thinking about rains will come and we will be able to come. So in the end, I think Vijay, you could say that Indus probably could have beaten Miles any other day, but essentially, after all, it was your team. It was in your hands. You had 12 games. So
that's one thing I said. I take that responsibility, but again, in that 20% on the corner of your heart, you still have it. So,
that's okay, Vijay. You're only human, so I'm sure if you feel that way, that's okay. It's you're human, and yeah, I mean, when you miss that, but I think it's the first 4 games, Vijay. You lost the first 4 games, and that's what really put you in the hole. It was a hellhole to climb out of. Credit to you and Dynamites for making it that close. You just certainly created a lot of ruckus in the league, and you also caused sleepless nights for some people who were going to play you. But I think the first 4 games, 0-4, and then I remember I was one of the guys saying that Vijay Shanmugam and Dynamites are going to Division 2. All right. So, but then you got all these new recruits. You changed the strategy. You got rid of some players and you brought in these high-priced recruits, and they got. I mean, it took them. Then it took them another 2-3 games to get acclimatized to DCL. That also didn't help because even though they were playing, you're still losing. Whereas if they were playing like how they were playing towards the end of the season, you probably might have won at least those games. But anyway, let's.
But I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to ask. I'm pretty sure a lot of primetime users and DCL players want to know: will we see those guys next year, Vijay?
Oh, I have that question written here. Oh, you stole that question from me. All right, go ahead, Vijay. He has asked the question. He stole the question from me without seeing the question.
I don't know if they will be available for all the games, but they will be available for a few games. So most of them are, 2 of them are in Texas. They play for, I think, one plays for Kingsman, which is one of the top teams in Texas, and then the other one plays for Knight Riders. And then Siraj is gone. He's in PSL. He got the contract with PSL, so I think it runs till April, and then hopefully he will come here for.
I saw Siraj was playing in this Champions Cup also, isn't he? Is he the same guy
in PSL?
Yeah, the Pakistan Champions Cup.
Yeah, he's playing. Yeah, he's playing under Naeem Afridi. So
So Vijay, who is the 2 people in Texas? Norman Anwar, is it?
No, Akhtar is Akhtar Shah. He's there in Texas, and
Akhtar
then
Shah or Akhtar Khan?
Akhtar Khan. Yeah, passport is different. So
See, Vijay, this is the problem. I know your players better than you, even though I'm sitting 10,000 miles
no,
away.
the passport, the name is different in passport. So so it's
Okay.
a different name on the. So and then Hassan is playing for under Nauman in Texas.
Okay.
Nice.
Is Nauman going to play for you also?
No. He played one game, and I think he played 2 games this year. But
okay.
I don't.
Well, it was 1 game last year, right? And this year just 2 games. Maybe it will become 3 games next year. Who knows?
Well, we were talking about it, and I know a lot of people have their views and opinions about the influx of these recruiters. But for me, as a neutral spectator and as a committee member of DCL, and who wants the league to grow, I think this was fabulous for the league that we had PSL level players play in DCL. So congratulations to you, Vijay, to getting these players. I'm pretty sure this will be something that will be remembered for a very long time, that we had some PSL level players play with us, and I'm sure a lot of people love it.
I'll also say they were very good kids, I would say. I mean, it's not easy to bring somebody into your team and then adapt them, and being a part of that team. But all these 3 were really, really helpful, and they understood. I mean, they have good leadership skills as well. So we learned a lot from them also, how to play, good cricket, consistent cricket, and the mindset, right? They always keep talking about the mindset when you're in the ground, regardless of what's happening behind you. They say when you enter the ground, you only have to think about, how do I get the next wicket, or how do I score runs? Don't think about personal pressure. Just leave it. Just play the game to the spirit. So a lot of things we also learn how they approach a game, right? These are proper athletes. So getting to know them also was a good thing for us on the team.
Nice. All right.
Any tidbits on the Poes Miles game, Vijay, before I jump in?
I think again, looking, I talked with
Ranjit?
No. Sorry, Sanjay. After the game, I saw him.
You rubbed it in, is it? You gave him some rubbing. You told him bad karma or something like that. I don't know. What did he tell?
I keep it for myself, Viju. I'll save it for another rainy day.
Okay.
No, I think they said they planned everything, but then Miles had a good plan, and they did everything they can, but then they missed that. They couldn't read Sudarshan. That's what they told me. So they weren't able to read Sudarshan's line, and they just gave big wickets to him.
Okay.
So, but
go ahead.
Yeah, congrats to Poes, right? They they have all the spin attack, and Neil is not even bowling anymore in their lineup. So I think it's they identified their 5 bowlers, and they're going to stick with it for the rest of the playoffs. So it's going to be a different strategy compared to last year, what they had. And they're not even operating Arun Dinakaran. They're not giving pace to any of these players. So they understand the logics in playoffs, and they only use Arun, I think, whenever they need it. They don't need him in the rotation right now. So it's a good think tank from Ranjit. Congrats, Poes.
Well, it's a comprehensive win for Poes, guys. Arun, if you ask me, you just brought up Arun's name, but I'm surprised that none of you guys are giving him the proper credit, because as far as I was concerned, Arun was the Poes man Friday. Yeah. The man who was there everywhere. Well, you know what? With the ball, if you ask me, Raghu Palaniswamy had absolutely fabulous figures. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs and 2 wickets. And guess what? It doesn't stop there for Raghu, because guess who is the leader? Who is the leader in the prediction race? It is Raghu Palaniswamy. And I'll have more on Raghu Palniswamy when we get to the prediction, this thing, because I have an award to give out, but we'll get to that when we get there. I even have a sponsor for that, but there is some conditions which Raghu will have to fulfill in order to claim the award. All right, but we'll get to that there. Well, I'm just giving the teaser before that happens. I think Sudarshan, as you said, had fabulous figures: 5 overs, 2 maiden, 6 runs, 4 wickets. Those two guys basically killed the Miles with the bowling. And I don't know, you guys probably saw the Neil's lightning catch reflexes to send back Rahul Chenna, who was probably the key wicket from Miles. It was jaw-dropping good. I mean, it was, I don't know, it's cat-like reflexes, right? So if you ask me what's the difference between Pokeries and Miles, I'll tell you, the difference is very simple. Pokeries is consistently good. Miles is inconsistently good. In other words, on Miles, on any given day, if it is their day, they can beat anybody. So they don't have the consistency of Pokeries. So if our friend Sanjay Elangovan is trying to improve his team, he has to learn how to get his team to consistently perform, not these high spikes, like what you see in the, I don't know, the hospital when the heart rate monitor is connected, the spikes all over the place. That's what is happening. Elangovan still has, I do not know. Elangovan says, is he saying that they had the right strategy? Vijay, did I hear you right? I mean, did he say that?
They said they.
Well, all I can say is, Sanjay, I do not know what you're planning because you need to improve your planning a lot more. I mean, trust me. There were many question mark things in this particular game where I feel that you should have checked certain things and not allowed Pokeries to do certain things. Now, whether that will pan out or not is a different thing. But at least I feel that somehow I didn't feel the strategy of Elangovan and company was all that up to the par, at least to my liking. All right. I mean, if I'm in charge, I probably have a few things different. They do still have a few structural changes to make, I feel, Miles, to bring in some consistency. For me, Sunil Adonda and Abhilash are 5-over bowlers. Now, the rest of the guys, we'll have to figure out on any given day who's bowling well and then go with that. But I still feel that Miles are still not at the upper echelon as they would like to be. They have some good talent. But as I said, the difference between Pokeries and Miles is one is consistently good. The other is inconsistently good. And always consistently good will beat inconsistently good in the longer frame when it comes to a championship. But if it is a one and done game, Pokeries can be taken down by Miles, just like Miles took down Red Devils.
To be honest, Sanjay was preparing. He did call me. I think it was the week before, because they knew that they were going to play a couple of these left armers, and he knows about Sujay. He's one of the best left arm spinners in DCL, and he had actually asked me if he could get his services to come and practice with them so that they can practice some of the left arm spin, which is a rarity in DCL. There are not too many left arm spinners, so he was checking those boxes. Unfortunately, Sujay wasn't available, but I think he was definitely on the right mindset of practicing some of that slow left arm spin, which he anticipated would cause problem, and it actually did, with both Raghu and Sudarshan amongst the wickets. They got 6 wickets out of the 10. So things didn't plan out, didn't get executed, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, knowing Sanjay, he does think a lot in going into the game. So we should probably give him that credit that he did think about playing that left arm spin in practice going into this game. So he had the right steps, and whether it got executed, that's a different story.
Okay. Well, I think we continue on. I mean,
the next game, I think the next game was a shocker in a sense that, compared to the other playoff games, this was a high scoring game. We generally anticipate and we expect those 80s and the 90s. But GLCC was on a rampage here. And this is not the first time this season this has happened. So it shouldn't surprise us that GLCC has scored these big runs, because a couple of times at least I remember they have, demolished or batted the opposition out of the game. And this has been a strategy which I think KK has implemented this year, where they're going heavy out of the blocks with Kaushik and Prabhu and Akash. All three can play shots, and KK himself, we've seen promotes himself up the order. I think it was in the last game. It was a low scoring affair, but he did promote himself up the order. So if you look at the strike rates of these guys, Kaushik 153, Akash 110, Pradeep 87. So it's maintained throughout the scorecard. It's not just the couple of players at the top, but it's throughout the batting scorecard. They have been scoring quick runs, and that is making a huge impact, because then the bowlers are always under the pressure and always under the gun. And in this case, it happened. I think in the first 12 overs, it was pretty much game set and done, with them scoring 75 or 80 in the first 12 overs. We all knew KRCC had what it takes to compete, but once they scored that 160, I mean, I think it was it was going to be a record chase if KRCC was to get. But the one thing I didn't understand, and this is a question for you guys, is KRCC bowled 8 bowlers. They have a lot of great bowlers. They have Raza, they have Mufasir, they have Tamim, Jasneet himself. Jasneet has not been himself for a very long time in this season. But bowling, coming to playoffs and bowling 8 bowlers, that was a complete shocker for me. That why they had to go with that. And then yes, they competed at the bat, but it was well short. So going into the playoffs, the team should be wary of the GLCC onslaught, especially at the top. And I would love to know from Satya if he joins, and Viju if you've had any insight. How do you guys plan to curb this onslaught which GLCC has, especially with Chapidi and Prabhu and Akash?
Didn't Hemant play this game?
Hemant is not available. I think he is. I don't know whether he's going to be available next game, but I think KK had mentioned he was in India, so I don't know when his arrival is. So, yeah.
Maybe KK's good friend Gaba knows. I don't know if Gaba knows when Hemant is back.
KK mentioned that he will be back somewhere in the last weekend of September. So I'm not sure if this is the weekend or next weekend.
Okay.
KK generally keeps his cards very close to his chest, so he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Vijay, whoever wants to take this next, talk about GLCC and the resurgence of this batting which they have.
No, I think as you said, GLCC changed their way, right? This is not a GLCC of the past. This is the GLCC of the now and the future, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a different DNA. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different mindset on all these players that have that KK had, grouped from different teams, right? I see a lot of people from Raptors, few people from I mean, this is a unit that, and if you look at GLCC, only Samish is the lonely warrior. They're still there, right? Samish and Ajit, right? If you look at the rest of the 10 are
Akash.
totally different from Akash.
Yeah.
So totally different unit, totally different lineup. So because if you look at last year, Akash was the lone warrior in that team who who batted well and bowled well. So I think adding all these big shots, and they have this same mentality from game one. We played them in game one. They never stopped. Like even if it's a low score, they went for it. So I think the attitude is different, and you saw them against even with Bulls game. I mean, they just killed Bulls. I mean, because Bulls were 24, 25 for 7, and then somehow they made it to 75. And then these guys didn't even care, right? I mean, they were like, we'll just finish it in 8 overs, man. So I think
Right.
it's a new style of playing for GLCC, and it's working out so far. So again, they have won all games on a comfortable margin. Now the big game, the Viju.
Yeah, we need Viju to coin a term for just like how we have baseball for Brendan McCallum. We should probably have a coin a term for KK. So the
King
cricket
Kong ball. King Kong ball. See, it came automatically.
That sounded very bad.
You guys put me on the spot. Well, that's the first thing which came to my mind. Huh?
Well,
This is why you shouldn't put me on the spot. You don't know what will come out.
yeah,
Well, here's the thing. This was an absolute shocker. All right. I can't even. I'm still stunned by this result. All right. I did not expect this result, Parthiv. I don't think anyone in the Glads camp expected this result except for one guy. And that one guy doesn't think like the rest of us. Guess who that one guy is?
Is Chetan Bhai. I know he predicted.
No. They leave Chetan Bhai out of it.
Oh, okay.
He's playing. Huh?
Mansab
What
bhai.
is that? Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah, I think he already has Mansab playing for him, in some tournament. So Mansab did predict that GLCC will win. Why he said it? Who knows? All right. When he said it, I didn't believe him. I said, all right, Mansab is probably a little high. All right. But I didn't fully believe him. I'm being honest. I did not believe Mansab. But Mansab was the only guy in Glads who said that GLCC will win. KRCC bowled 21 extras, Parthiv. It was very uncharacteristic of them, considered one of the best bowling units in DCL. If you're telling me that you're going to score 160 runs on them, I would have said you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
The GLCC bulldozer was driven by KK. They really bulldozed KRCC. In the process, Parthiv, I'll say that I got bulldozed too. All right. I'm still struggling to understand this. I don't even know where to start. Sure, the scorecard tells a story. But the fact that when I look at the scorecard and it says, Tamim Moni, 5 overs, 38 runs, 0 wickets. I don't think Tamim Moni had this kind of bad figures ever in his life. I think Tamim Moni will want to dig his own grave once he sees these figures. And this starts sinking in that he gave 38 runs and didn't pick a single wicket. Well, Jasneet bowled 1 over and gave 16 runs. Well, then you have Shivpal Rana, who's supposed to be their star spinner, who is housed in some special house. Well, he why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, Vijay? Did I tell something? Did I tell a lie? Did I tell a lie?
No. Yeah,
this is what is doing the rounds. Did you hear the same thing too? Let me ask you that. I'll put it, he's living in some special house or whatever it is. Did you hear that too?
No.
Special house. Wow.
Some paid accommodation or whatever it is. I don't know. But anyway, 2 overs, 19 runs. All right. These are frontline bowlers and they just got smacked around. You said KRCC used 8 bowlers. What in the world is Jasneet supposed to do? All right. Let's explain that to me. When the bowlers are going for this kind of runs, what in the world is Jasneet supposed to do? You run out of options. That's exactly what's happening. I still don't understand how this GLCC guys did it. Here is the thing. I just said that GLCC is the weakest bowling attack left in the playoffs. And then they go against the so-called best attack or the second best attack. I thought it was between them and Stars. Though right now I would like to put my hat into it and say that Glad's bowling attack is doing outstandingly good. But having said that, KRCC gave 21 extras. GLCC gave only 8 extras. Kaushik Chepudi is, I don't know, he must be batting on Mars. I don't know. The balls, he's just smacking them out of the park. 2 4s, 5 6s. It's like he's eating rasgullas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have Prabhu, Hitesh, Akash, Pradeep, all these guys scoring huge. And the next thing you know, it is 160. I did not see this coming. And so I'm publicly admitting that, I never saw this coming. I'm shocked by the result. I was very confident that if we win, we will be playing KRCC. So I had not anticipated a rematch with the GLCC. We already saw these guys earlier in the season. Well, at that time, we got the better of them. Now the question is, can we get the better of them a second time? Now, here is the problem, Parthiv. Remember last week, I do not know if you recall, I gave you a reason why I was picking against Titans. I said Titans are going against Stars, and this is an axiom in all of sports. You do not beat a good team twice in a row. It is very, very difficult. Right. Because the good teams always make an adjustment and they'll come back with greater hunger. And it is very difficult to beat a good team 2 times in a row. And now the problem that Glads have is we have to beat a good team. Even though that American has called Glads a Division 3 team. And because of that, I had to call GLCC a Division 4 team. Well, you and I know there is no way a Division 3 team and a Division 4 team is going to make it to the semi-finals of Division 1. So here is the problem. All the 4 teams remaining in the playoffs in Division 1 are the cream of the cream. Those guys are not pushover teams. They did not get there by accident. And if they are by default, by that logic, that the fact that they reach the semi-finals, that they are good teams, then it means to beat a good team twice in a row, we really have to think out of our mind. And trust me, we will try to do that.
Let me put you in the spot. So let's say, Glads play GLCC next weekend, obviously. Kaushik
why it's not, let's say, it is for a certainty, right?
Saying, obviously you guys are playing, but let's say that scenario where Kaushik is going all guns blazing. What would you do differently that KRCC probably didn't do?
Why would I reveal that and give KK an advantage? Do you think I'm a fool? Does the word F stand for fool? I mean, come on, man. That F there stands for Federer, not fool. I'm not going to give you.
You don't need to go into specifics of who you would employ as a bowler or something, but strategically, like what things you would advise to the KRCC captain.
Yeah, KRCC captain, you have to figure out how to make this guy extremely uncomfortable. All right, we will try to make Kaushik Chepudi extremely uncomfortable. That is for a given. We will try to make him extremely uncomfortable. We will push him into scenarios which he doesn't like. And guess what? Once we get that breakthrough, we'll see how it goes, right? I mean, I expect last time around, we won the game running away, all right? It was not even a contest. Well, this time around, how do you remain staying at the top? You have to do certain things. But if we lost to them, it's a good team. We are not calling them Division 4 and Division 5 and these kind of stupid analogies, which makes no sense. They're a good team, so we'll have to figure something out. So obviously, we are going to work on it. We have already started working on it, but we don't practice, all right? I think practice is overrated. All you need is on the mental edge. That's where we have always strived to keep ourselves pushing. And that's what got us past Indust too. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be telling what the strategy is, but trust me, I have already started conversations with Satya on what we would like to do and, what our plan of action is. And, if we do this, we do that, and those kind of things. We'll definitely go through all those things. It goes without saying.
All right. So both captains and both teams are keeping their cards close to the chest. So that's understandable. But let's go to the next game. Glad's Thunders. As a neutral spectator, I would admit I was really disappointed with Thunders. Just looking at their scorecard, when I saw their scorecard, I was amazed with the lineup. First of all, and actually I had talked about this in one of our previous shows, that the problem the Thunders are going to have with the inclusion of Maulik and Ronak is, they definitely will have a shakeup of the batting order, which they have been trying from day one. Maulik has been opening, he comes down the order, Ronak comes up, Manoj comes back, he comes open the innings. And if you look at the last three scorecards, I was looking at it this afternoon, they have had different openers and almost a different lineup to their batting scorecard. And somehow they have been, someone has been stepping up, it either Manoj or Chetan or Ronak, who have been kind of rescuing them and getting them those wins. But never in this season they have been that team that we've considered them like three-time champions, and a team that we all look forward to seeing them. They have been a shadow of their past in this season. I think it's because of the instability that in the batting, and they probably need some more time to figure out, a, a role for both Maulik and Ronak. I was surprised to see Rao Ghanta in the mix. I thought Naresh and even Anirudh, for that matter, they could have been a better addition to the scoring card. Rao Ghanta is probably is past his prime, and I don't see how he can come playoff team for Indus Thunders. So very surprised at that. And then too, they too experimented with a lot of bowling options, which was another surprise, which I've never seen Indus Thunders do. They generally have those fixed 4 or 5 bowlers, and especially when you have the likes of Dinesh, Manoj, Shrikant, and Chetan and Jalaj, you know, those are your 5 bowlers, and then you have the other kind of backing them up if needed. But here I see a lot of bowlers being tried, very unlike Thunders in a playoff game. 8 bowlers again being tried, which is surprising as well for me. So all in all, I look at the scoring card. It wasn't the Thunders that I was expecting to compete, and I think Gladiators took full advantage of that. Great innings by Satya himself, and Udit, a very patient innings. But I think uh, those two carried the bat, got them to a respectable total. And after that, I think Thunders, apart from Manoj, putting some resistance, the batting just collapsed. And I know we've talked about this guy, Amin Jahan. I think he looks fabulous. 5 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 1. He didn't get wickets, but I think he was accurate. And then, surprise, surprise, Shan amongst the wickets. He has been amongst the wickets in a very, very long time that I've seen. So, a good comeback of sorts for him with the ball as well. So, Glad's, I think, I feel, I don't know what about, I would love to see other analysts, but I felt weren't tested enough in this game. Thunders, I expected them much more competitive for this game. So, yes, go ahead, Vijay. I'll
No,
go
I
with
think great. I think this is what happened to Glads after Legends, and I asked Viju what happened. Viju didn't know what happened really, right? Like it was a great two-side bowling attacks with Legends, and then coming out of that, and then I was surprised to see Arjun opening this time around. So again, Glads made some changes. Again, and I think the key was there after they lost like 4 wickets in 10 overs. I think the next 10 overs, they didn't lose a single wicket. So that is something that all the teams who are, playing DCL, they need to observe that it's okay to waste some balls, but, it's more critical to get that partnership, and that partnership with Udit and Satya, that was critical for them to take them to a reasonable target of 80 plus, which I think Glads wouldn't mind that total. They wanted to get to 80s and 90s because they know, they can make a game out of it. Uh, and yeah, I was surprised to see 9 bowlers and Ronak didn't bowl, so 10, right? Usually you have a team with 10 bowlers, and it's always hard because Chetan by himself is a good bowler, right? I've seen him changing the games, and he came so down the order when he bowled. And it was, I don't know what was going on. They wanted to satisfy everybody, or they wanted to change the strategy at the playoff level. Not sure what happened, right? And then 84 was a target that they could have, like all they need is 3 runs and over if you really target that. But then they lost, they lost their side in like what, 15 overs. They were 8 for 36, 13 overs. When I was watching this game, I knew Chetan is the turning point because he has played some amazing innings in DCL this year. And, and then when he got out, and I'm like, okay, this is done. This is, nobody expected this. Nobody expected the new additions, Maulik and Ronak, to go for 4 runs total. Maulik getting out on the first ball. So again, kudos to Glads. I mean, they were very decent. They didn't even introduce Mansab till late when I was seeing this. And again, like they used their their 5 bowlers were good enough for the whole of the Indus team. So again, very, very conservative bowling, very, very disciplined attack, giving only like 7 extras. But anyways, there's only 44 runs, so doesn't matter. And even Indus bowled 6 extras. So both teams are pretty good, but I think where Indus captain Dinesh missed the point is, I don't know why. I couldn't figure this out when I saw the scorecard.
Yeah.
Why would you use 9-10 bowlers in your critical game?
Yep.
And when you have Manoj Singh bowling pretty good, 5 overs, 8 runs, 5 wickets with a hat trick, and you have Dinesh, and I don't know why he gave so many others like 1 over each.
Exactly. And all of these guys, as I mentioned, are experienced bowlers who have time and again bowled their quota of overs, and you would expect to like bet your salary on it that Dinesh will bowl his 5, Manoj will bowl his 5, Jalaj will bowl his 5. Those are a surety. And then Chetan, as I said, he's the next guy you would bet that to bowl the quota of overs. So him not bowling and then trying so many different options is just a brain fade moment for the Indus Thunder's captains. I know Dinesh, this is his first year of captaining, so there's some bit of learning as well. But they have the think tank. They had Manoj, they had Chetan, they had Jalaj, they had so many of these experienced guys. So not sure as to what was the thinking behind it. Really baffles me. And the question I have for Viju is, when are we going to see the real Mansab?
Well, it's a question.
Or almost 9 in the batting order.
What is it?
Why is he coming 9 in the batting order?
No, I think in this game it was a product of the circumstances, because Satya and Udit batted as Vijay said, from over 10 to 20. So then Hardeep went, and then Ruchit went, and then Mansab went. I think that's how the game worked out, right? But having said so, very first ball Mansab launched it, and I think it was in the last game. The Legends, somebody in the Legends camp told somebody in the Glads camp that Mansab will not score any runs in that game. So sure enough, he didn't score in that game. Now, in this game, again, very first ball, he launched it. I had a chat and I told him, hey, stick around, get a little bit of the timing in. But Mansab is the next factor, all right? We don't want him to change too many things. If he sees a ball which he likes to hit, go ahead and hit it. I think it's the same approach which GLCC also uses with regards to Kaushik. I think you got to let some of these people be themselves. I don't think you change them too much. I don't think it works very well. I think if you ask me, if you go and ask any of the Glads guys, I told them last week itself, guys, if Indus wins the toss, be ready to bat first. They are going to bowl, and that's exactly what happened. So some people might wonder, do we even think these small things? Yes, we look at every aspect as to what might something happen and how how it might happen. And if it doesn't happen that way, how are we going to counterattack it also? So it is part of, these are two very good teams, all right? Both teams have won 3 championships each. In the last 10 years, that is 6 championships. 1 year was COVID, so there is only 3 other champions. One is KRCC, one is GLCC won it once, and then who was it who won it? 1 year was Knockers. That's it. That's your 10 in the last. So the 2 most successful franchises are going against each other. I'm sure if you ask Indus, or if you had asked us, we would have preferred them in the other side. But what can we say? We ended up on the same side. So I think if you ask me what was missing, I mean, Pandeti is good. He's a good player. But I do believe that Gopu's leadership was missing. I do believe that Gopu makes, well, it's not an accident that he won the 3 championships, right? So I think making the right decisions at the right time, that has a significant impact. And maybe motivating the players, talking to the players, figuring out what you're going to do when. I think, I do believe, I'll agree with you, Indus was not on the top of their game in this game with regards to strategy. They got schooled in the strategy department by Glads. I'll admit that openly.
Yeah,
what's that again?
Also, 3 weeks they didn't play as a unit.
Oh, absolutely. That is another big factor. The fact that I told this last week itself, you can practice all you want, and yet you cannot mimic a playoff atmosphere. A playoff atmosphere is completely different. So for, if you ask me, Indus has never beaten Glads in a playoff game. So last week when everybody and their mother and their father and their brother was picking Indus, I knew the facts. The facts were they have never beaten us in a playoff game. And so, sure, they have beaten us in a regular season game. But when we get our best unit, and again, I do not think they had their best unit. So again, this Naresh Sundar not playing, I expected him to play, and he was not in the lineup, shocked me. All right. So again, you rightly pointed, Rao Ganta is past his prime. I think he's washed up. I don't think he would, if I were picking the team, Rao Ganta would not be in the playing 11. I can give it to you in writing. All right. As far as I'm concerned, Glads is Indus kryptonite. If you ask me, Indus is Stars kryptonite, because Stars have a problem when they run into Indus. So Stars were very happy to see Indus on the other side, that those guys beat each other up. Well, if you ask me, Strikers is Glads kryptonite. So somehow there are certain matchups which just does not work for everybody, you see. But I think if you ask me for Glads, it was Udit and Satya show. They took the game away. Then came the Ronak run out, all right, Parthiv. If there was any moment that I was absolutely elated, that was the moment, because that was the key wicket which I wanted going into the game, because I know that Ronak can take the game away from you. I still rate him one of the best players in DCL. So if I could pick one player out of there and bring it into Glads, it would be Ronak, because Ronak is, in terms of talent or in terms of ability, with the T-ball. I think Manoj Singh is their best player in the leather ball, but in T-ball, I think Ronak still is Ronak, all right? Yeah, he still is a class player. And I honestly, Parthiv, I do not even know why they did not run. There was a run there. So I was quite happy to see that Ronak was the one who got run out, and Manoj did not sacrifice his wicket. If there was a desire to sacrifice the wicket, there was plenty of time for that too. But then our catching was outstanding. Shrikant Yerua, he hit a ball. Who is this? Ruchit deflected it. Jawad dived and took the catch. That was the kind of fielding that which we put in out there. But I knew one thing, nothing is over till the fat lady sings. In this case, the fat lady is Chetan. And until Chetan is out, the game is not over. So once Chetan was gone, I knew the nail had been driven into the coffin. Jeet had figures of 4 overs, 1 made in 5 runs, 3 wickets. Shan was absolutely fantastic and fantabulous. 5 overs and 13 runs and 4 wickets. They were unstoppable. They were bowling like maniacs. Mansab was great for 1 over. Then Mansab decided he wanted to try new things. I don't know why he wanted to try new things when he was doing such wonderful things in the very first over. Amin was coming off an injury. We did not know which Amin is going to show up, but I'll say that he was spectacular. Jawad was Jawad. He was simply good. But if you ask me, the key turning point in the game when I kind of relaxed was when Ronak got run out. Why Glads won? I think Glads won because we had a better strategy. Of course, you need some luck. And the Ronak Q Patel run out was the luck which we needed. And the Yerwa catch was also something which went in our favor. Then again, the Naresh Sundar drop makes absolutely no sense. I'm sure if you're Naresh Sundar, you probably are not too happy about it. But again, Anirudh Dorle, I think he's injured, but otherwise he probably would have played. But here is the fun facts. Maulik Patel started the game today. Of course, I and Maulik had a long conversation today for, I don't know, an hour and a half, all right? So I did ask him the same question. Man, you started this broadcast in this thing, you advertised it, I don't know, in the Primetime community group and all those things, everybody. And guess what, Parthiv? I also logged into his stream, all right? Because he was the first person who started streaming. The Glads guys are always slow. So by the time they started the streaming, Maulik had already started the streaming. So I started watching the streaming. And then came the Ronak Q Patel run out. And the next thing I know, the streaming stopped. All right. I know that. And I know why. And I know Maulik's brain, how it works. And I know exactly what he was thinking. Oh, no, Ronak Q Patel is run out. That's the end of the season. I am done. I am packing my bags. I am leaving. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Maulik Patel left the ground. All right. Credit to Ronak Q Patel. He stayed till the end. Going into the game, I told you there was a Texas and a Lexus bromance. All right. You know, Maulik Patel has this new cyber truck from Tesla, right? I mean, I think all of you guys know that. He has been driving it anywhere and everywhere and parking it in premium spots and things like that. Well, I and Arjun Ajbani were talking in the morning before going into the game, and I'm talking to my star player and trying to get him into game mode and things like that. So I'm talking to him, and he was pulling into the ground. And he said, "Oh, I'm parking right to the next Tesla Cybertruck." I said, "Oh, you guys are having a wonderful bromance. Maybe we should, get you guys hooked together." But let me tell you, the Tesla guy disappeared, Partha. The Tesla guy disappeared. And the Glads guys, they never give up an opportunity to get a shot in. And they said, you know what, Pichu, if Maulik Patel was in the winning stage, he would have stayed till the game got over, and he would have been waiting for that opportunity to shake our hands and look at us, and he would have been brimming side to side. Well, I know Maulik Patel, and I know that is exactly what would have happened, of course. But that did not happen. But credited to, who's this? Ronak, he did stay till the game got over. Again, I say, winning and losing is part of the game. If you play a game, there will be a winner and there will be a loser.
Yep.
That's just, if you don't want that, then don't play the game. Simple as that. When you play, there will be somebody who's going to win and somebody who's going to lose. Just because a team lost doesn't mean that they are all a bunch of yahoos who do not know how to play. And just because a team won, let's have the humility to understand that, yeah, we played better on that day. And yes, we played better on this day. And we played better last year in the playoffs. That's why we proceeded. But don't take anything away from the fact that these two are the most successful franchises in the last 10 years, given by the fact that these two have won 6 titles each. You win some, you lose some, but after the game, the respect still remains. I think Manoj Singh had a fabulous day with the ball. Fabulous player. Pandeti, I don't know, his pace keeps increasing is what I feel every year when I see him. But I do believe that what we need to understand is that, game happens, somebody is going to win or lose. If I had to give any advice to my friend Maulik, would be the same advice which I gave Gaba Bhai. Remember, I asked Gaba, is he going to come on the show? And he said, yes, when their game is going to come up, he's going to come on the show. And I said, that is good. Because a lot of people had been criticizing Malik for doing what he did, which is disappear as soon as Ronak got out and shutting the broadcast, because there were many people tied in there. And I said, don't do that. Come on the show, face the music, deal with it like a man, leave it. Whatever happened is happened. Move on, learn from your whatever mistakes you might have made, see how you can better the outcome next time. And that's how you grow as a person. And that's how you grow as a team too. You will not grow otherwise. And that's just the fun stuff which I had. But otherwise, we can go on to the next game, I believe.
Yes, I think the next game is a game that we were just touching upon. Very, 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 very disappointed as a neutral spectator, because I did feel, after the fabulous season that Titans had, it's going to be a close contest. Stars, obviously, you can never count them out. They have quite a few good players, and they are true to their name, Stars, because they have, in all probability, the biggest collection of individual performers who on a day can change the game. They're missing, obviously. They were thinking about getting Bangera, which didn't happen, but that would have been another star player who would have been a critical one in the playoff as well. But in this game, throughout the season, Amar has been pretty ordinary. He hasn't been to the great expectations or the great performances that he had last season, where he was the top scorer, top batsman of the league. But suddenly he shows up here, scores 55 runs. I mean, that opening start which he gave to the Stars, I think that, and he carried his bat almost till the end, which made a huge difference, almost 21st over. None of the other batters really contributed, but Amar's, just by his presence, made a big difference. And once you get that, as I said, the power score has always been 80 and 90. 100 was, once they got 100, it was always going to be a very competitive game. But what happened next was, I don't think anybody would have predicted this. The collapse of monumental figures, 15 runs all out, something that I'm pretty sure Gabaji wants to forget in a hurry, because I don't think this is any testament to, the team that he has, the performances that they have had this season. They have had outstanding performances, and, just this one bad day, some things, and we've all been through that. I've had situations where we've got out at with KRCC. I think we were bowled out for 27 or 28 or something. But these things tend to happen. But unfortunately, when it happens in a playoff, it hurts that much more after a fabulous season that they've had. So, unfortunate for Satish Bhai. But Stars, definitely, I think this team here, I think there's always going to be that one standout performer that you need to watch out for. So it's either going to be Ravi Teja or Amar or one of these guys like Deepak. One of these guys will stand out and perform in the playoffs. And that's exactly what I think Pokeries need to be wary of as well. So before I go to any other analyst, let me go to Gabaji. Gabaji, I would love to hear from you how you felt and what went wrong.
I think let Vijubhai cover and then probably I'll touch
Okay.
base.
All right. Let Viju first.
No, I was waiting to hear from you, Gavabai, because you are there right the game. Whatever I am doing is going to be based upon what conversation I had with Hari Parankusam and looking at the scorecard and probably observations made by others in passing to me. But that doesn't cover what happened in the game. You were right in the thick and the middle, thick and thin of things,
Okay,
right?
if you
So
want me to
who
go
knows?
ahead.
Yeah. So my feeling is you probably would be able to just cover the whole game, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, I probably will just point out some of the things more from a pointer perspective than anything else. And I'm sure Vijay probably has some thoughts too, but these are our personal thoughts,
Yeah. So, okay, then I can go ahead and try to summarize how it happened. So, unfortunately, I was doing very good with the toss, and my team and myself, we did not want it to chase down. So that was the first thing. But again, toss was not in our hand, and Star won the toss, and they elected to bat first. And if you see,
So
right, as I was saying,
if you won the toss, would you have batted first? Just before we
yes,
continue.
yes.
Okay,
Because the
all right.
last two playoff as well, we lost the toss unfortunately, and we have been given a chase and we were not able to chase. So something, it happens. I'm not sure if you guys can relate it or
Yeah.
not, but it always sit on your mind. It's not just in my mind. A lot of players' mind as well. It's not just the captain's mind that okay, we lost two times game. And a couple of people already told me that. But again, toss is not something in our hand, right? As a team, but we started bowling, and as I still believe that our bowling is quite strong, and I think we have discussed this a couple of times. So we started really good. Uh, we even though Amar is known for his attacking batting, we had Amar also in very under control. We did not allow him to stretch his hand enough, And then on the other hand, we got Gautam and Ravi Tej out on a very cheap. At one point, we were 10 over 20 odd run and 2 wicket. That was the stat at one point. And thereafter, Amar has got couple of boundaries and then he was not stoppable. And I think it was a clean inning except one easy run around that we missed. It could be either of Deepak Giryappa or Amar we could have got, but unfortunately we could not get any of those. They were both were sitting in the middle of the crease, but it happened. Only one. Probably I will count one. Probably the chance that we have got. After that, I think Amar was brilliant. Amar was just picking any loose ball was throwing on his way and it was all going all out of the park because he has already played almost after 12 overs mark he has already played about 35 balls and he is still like 60 or 50 odd run strike rate which is very unlikely if I see it correctly and it was a fabulous performance from Amar and then we had 100 odd run on the board right again as we analyze a lot of times in the playoff or even in the normal game if the score is above 100 it's very tough and we had our two top batsmen PD and Kalyan those two were the highest run scorer for us when we started batting they had a lot to contribute there but unfortunately they were out at the beginning itself and the at that time bowling was Deepak and Satya was bowling really good and we could not the initial wicket was fall likewise. So I think that there only I think somehow I felt that the head was down and after that whoever was going on to bat right, including myself, it was we are feeling like after getting out it was I felt like this is the first time that we are holding the bat and we are not able to play a ball which is coming straight to yourself. Not something the pitch and I think somebody was mentioning. I did not complain about the 3 weeks for this disastrous result. Okay, this is
Yep.
flop batting from the Titans. That is us to be blamed. Neither pitch was fabulous. Pitch was okay to bat. Okay,
Which
ball
where were you playing?
kid too.
Kid too. Okay.
Yep.
So pitch was not bad. Pitch did not contribute our 10 wickets. Okay, there was no low and up down. They were bowling good, and then we were throwing the wicket like crazy. So that was the one, and it was very hard to be on the this side losing and then losing this way. So yeah, it is a lesson learned from us for us as well. But even though I think lost a lot of people has signed me, and even the Parthiv mentioned the same. This particular game is hard to forget, but we have to forget and move on. And this particular game should not define we as a team. And I'm still proud to lead this side, and we had a lot of good talents. Let's see how it goes for the next year.
Yep.
Vijay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think first of all, a great season, Gaba boy. I think
Thank you.
you guys topped everywhere, right? I mean, I see consistent performances, and you, I think out of 13 games you played, you won 9 tosses. you batted first 9 times. So you faced Stars in the regular season. They were all out for 50 runs. And then you guys chased them pretty casual. I think the only thing difference from that game to this game was Amar, right? So I think that's the trick, right? I mean, people want that big fish earlier because I've seen Stars batting. They are single double, rotation team. They have pretty solid bowling, but again, I don't think they are, they could reach 100 runs with what they did, right? So basically, this was Amar who took the game away. And then a lot of things they did also, they promoted Deepak Raj in the playoffs to number 2, which is good, right? Because those are the good players they have. So they want them on the top of the order. So I think Deepak played a very good innings in the previous game against Fighters. He scored 30 odd runs, 35 runs, facing 80 balls or something like that. He stood till there. So again, Amar was out pretty early, but then they were able to manage around 80. So again, I think that's the difference, right? That Amar got loose. I think nothing against your bowling. I think it's just that they belong to Stars. And I think, as you said, batting, when you lose 3 wickets pretty quick, I think the score by itself is pretty, like 100 is always mentally, right?
Yeah.
It's a 3-digit number, but I think as, Parthu said, don't take it anything. It's just, you have to forget it. It's one of those games that where we want to forget, and then, I think as you play more games, this will just go away, right? It's that kind of thing. But again, great season for you guys. I mean, I think a lot of your new additions have paid good results this year. So again, congrats on this journey, and hopefully next year you guys will come stronger with a better, because this is not just on you, right? It's on every player will be thinking this, right? It's just not on you. So don't just put it on you. It's just team effort.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijay, for kind words.
Yeah, Gaba bhai, this is going to sting, and it's going to sting for a long time. And that's okay. It should sting also. Because if it doesn't sting, then you don't care. Simple as that. Only when it stings, you care. I'll be honest. I'll admit this nationally. When Glads lost to Falcons in the 2013 DCL finals, for 1 full week, I cried and cried and cried. I mean, when I said cry, tears were rolling and rolling and rolling, because I had put in that much effort. I mean, I understand that many of you cannot understand that, but I had put in that much effort, and to come that close and to lose by 1 run or 2 run, it was like somebody ripped my heart out of me. And it was just very difficult. It took me a week to just not stop thinking back. I had to think back to every single decision. And I remember driving to Munising, and I was basically crying and crying and crying. I mean, that's just what it is. It was great bliss for one team. It was misery for me. I'll tell you that much. Sure, 101 people will say, oh, this is the new DCL record for futility. No team has ever scored only 15 runs in a playoff game, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's all true. And we can't deny any of those things. But I want you to hold your chin up, because I'll tell you my own personal experience after losing recently, right? I mean, what was that? I don't know, 2019, Glads was the number 1 team. You work all your season long, you get the number 1 seeding, you have lost, I don't know, undefeated or whatever it is. You come in, you think you're going to win this game, and then strikers come up with something, and, we just act as though we don't even know how to bat. I felt that day we don't even know how to bat. We just give catching practice and we come back, you're furious. But, what do you do? I mean, but we have to go through that. But once you go through that, you then just try to start building up from there, you see, and then say, okay, I'm going to hold my chin up. I have done something remarkable. I went undefeated for a regular season. Nobody can take that away from me. Yes, I did not perform in the playoffs, and until I perform in the playoffs, people are going to still, criticize me. And until I won in 2014, everybody used to say, "Oh, Glads cannot win the big thing. Glads cannot win the." Well, now it's not that anymore, right? Now they say, well, they will go to any game, and they, if they are still in the game, the game is not over, kind of a thing. So my point is that bad days will happen, but hold your chin up. Look at what you can learn from this experience. This bad day should not define you. You had a fabulous season. You have your bowler is the number one bowler in DCL, and your batsman is was that number 2 or number 3 in DCL, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it? Yeah, I mean, they both had fabulous seasons. You have beaten some high quality teams along the way, but face the reality. People will never respect Titans until you do something in the playoffs. But that is reality, and the faster you accept that reality, you realize, okay, you know what? I know what I have to work on, and this is what I need to work on. And it so happened that 3 times I played in the playoffs or whatever it is, all 3 times I ended up losing the toss. Well, at some point, the law of averages is going to change, and things will look differently. But remember, you are a man of tremendous integrity. I do not know of any captain or a player ever being asked, who's still remaining in the playoffs, being asked to come and umpire a game between 2 teams who might have to play you one day. You get my point? So that is respect. For me, that is respect. That is people saying that we expect you and we know that you will call a good game, that you're not going to come there and call a bad game, that you have the integrity. We trust you to do the right thing. You have run a good ship. You have brought in players. You have not sacrificed your values. These are the things which you can hang your hat on. Your players are some of really fabulous players in their own right. All right, but one bad day, and that shouldn't define anybody. It's not fair to take one bad day, because if that one bad day defines all of us, we would have stopped playing cricket long time back. So we all go through these experiences. When it happens, it happens. But we just say, okay, what can we learn from it? We'll become stronger for it. And Rome was not built in a day. In the same way, a championship is not won in one season. Trust me, Babai. 2003, I started playing DCL. It took me 11 years to climb the mountain. All right. But I tirelessly worked and worked my tail off. And I still continue working. Even though the skipper is different, it doesn't matter. But that's just the process. You go through the process, you trust the process, and you put in the work towards that process. And if you believe in something, stick to your beliefs. Do not change and compromise on your principles. This is what I believe. This is what I'm going to hold on to. And I'm going to do it my way. Not necessarily, I'm not changing any of those things. But I want to, at the same time, congratulate Harry and the Stars. Sorry, I couldn't talk much about their fabulous performance. With the interest of time, all of you guys have covered this thing. But I remember having a conversation with Harry, and Harry said, Viju, we both came out of adversity. And what he was talking about it is we both had to win our last regular season game to book ourselves a playoff spot. So our seasons were on the line, and we had to come out of that. And for us, playoffs started 1 week earlier than everybody else. But adversity happens, but our job is to see how we can overcome adversity. You guys have been fabulous ambassadors for the game. I think Parag had a fabulous season. Praveen Dige had a fabulous season. Ronnie had a fabulous season. Many of your guys, came together and bonded very well. And look and see, take the positives. Don't look only at the negatives. I think Federer put it best. People only think about the point which they lost, but remember all the points that you won, which got you there, and just trust the process, and the process will get you through. Will every day be our day? No, it won't be, but that's the way it works. So that finishes all the games, Parthiv? Because I have a quiz.
Yes, go ahead. That finishes all our games.
The quiz is for the four of you. Last week, only 4 guys picked Glads, all right, to beat Indus. Only 4 guys. Now, 3 guys, very easy to pick who those 3 guys are. Chetan, Satya, myself. Big deal, all right? Because those are all Glads players. So what else did you expect them to pick? But there was one other guy who picked Glads. Now, I want you to tell who picked Glads.
Raghu.
He says, Raghu. What about you, Parthiv?
Is it amongst us or is it amongst...
No. Amongst us, we all know who picked what, right?
Oh, okay. There's only one
I'm
guy.
talking. One guy, who is a non-Glad player, who picked Glads to win.
Vijay is also smiling. It's not Vijay.
Yes,
right?
Vijay is also. I mean, I'm asking you the question. I want an answer from the 3 of you. What's your answer, Gaba?
Raghu, I think Raghu, because Raghu has a lead, right? Like he got 6-point lead, so I'm just thinking that he might have picked the Glads over.
Okay,
Indus.
that's it. That's his logic. What's your prediction? Who picked Glads?
I think KK.
KK. Okay, and then Vijay Shanmugam. Who do you think picked Glads?
In this committee or
No, in the general public. Not in this committee. In this committee, we all know who picked who, except we don't know who you picked, right? Other than that, I'm just asking you to tell me who would have picked Glads.
Don't say it's Maulik.
Can you please give me I didn't ask you for a negative answer. I'm asking you for a positive answer. What's the answer? What's the answer?
Go with Maulik.
Your answer is Maulik? Huh?
Yeah. Keep it. Yeah. Just for fun.
Okay. If your answer is Maulik, let me tell you something. There is a better chance of me recovering the Titan from the bottom of the ocean where it is submerged and buried forever than Maulik picking Glads, okay? let me get it. All right. Here is the thing, D. Chetan Thakkar wants to give an award, all right, Parthiv? Where is Satya Velathiyotham? I only see his name. I want to ask him if he can do something for me. I don't see his face. That's why I was asking a question. Satya, can you hear me at least? That guy is not there.
Yeah,
I'm here.
There. Okay, all right, good. Satya, I need you to do me a favor, all right? Well, tell me if you can do it. Here is the deal. Chetan Thakkar has agreed to sponsor 500 grams of, I don't know, you can get laddu or you can get sweets like barfi or find out whatever it is. But there is one thing though, there's one catch. You know, here when you get the laddu, you always have something underneath it, like a wrapper underneath it. The laddu sits in the wrapper. I want a sweet like that, all right? Because I want you to then use, you can tell the sweet shop itself to separate the laddu from the wrapper, all right? So we want the laddu by itself and the wrapper by itself. I'm getting to something. Trust me. Trust me. It is going somewhere, guys. Wait. All right. I want all the laddus, and the wrappers separated. All right. And then I want you to put all the laddus in that special box, which I want you to then courier it to Raghu Palaniswamy once he claims this award. But there is only one catch. Raghu needs to not only give his address, he needs to give his address to collect the award, which is he's going to get a box of sweets, the best quality sweets. Chetan has agreed to sponsor it without any question. He'll get it done. But you know the wrappers which we collected? I want you to take that also and put it in a special box. And guess who that special box is going to? Raghu needs to provide Vignesh's home address. I want that. I want those rappers along with some tidbits of laddus going to Vignesh, because Vignesh and Raghu were watching the Glads game, which was happening in the next door very closely. You know why, Partha? Because they both predicted the wrong opposite ways. And that is why Raghu is the outright leader. Raghu is my friend, Parthiv. Raghu is the Glad's friend. We take care of our friends. We also make sure that people like Vignesh get to see what people like Raghu got. All right? So he can keep the wrappers. He can taste a little bit of the tidbits, but Raghu gets to eat the sweet because Raghu is our friend. He picked Glads. And we sure rewarded him. All right. I had to rub it into Vignesh, you know. I can't let him go like that.
All right, but I think still Vignesh has a chance, right? If
he has a chance. He has a chance. But now the thing is, there is only a few games left, right? And Raghu is not a dumb guy that he can overtake just like that. Right? You know, this is like Vignesh was the tortoise and the hare. Our friend Vignesh was the hare. Now the tortoise has caught up and has slightly overtaken him. Let us see if the tortoise can keep the lead. We'll figure that out.
All right. All right. With that said, let's go into predictions. How is the trend looking for the different semi-finalists? Satya, if you're going to share.
Oh, by the way, only four people picked GLCC to beat KRCC. KK was one of them.
No.
No,
only.
Only two people, is it? Oh,
I just saw it was two only.
Oh, only two people.
I told.
So one. You told me four. That's why. Okay. Well, so who? It was KK and who? Huh?
Our friend.
Which friend? KK and who?
Chetan.
Oh,
yeah.
Chetan. Oh, Chetan was doing all the opposite picks. Forget that. Okay, that doesn't even count.
He has been picking all these odd ones and climbing on me. He's like almost right next to my score.
So he's the tortoise who's ready to beat you, the hare, is it?
Yes,
all right.
He's picking these odd
if he beats you, there will be no end to the talk which he'll start talking about. Oh my God, he's the king of trash talk. I am a pygmy in front of a giant like Chetan, all right? Chetan is a giant and I am a pygmy when it comes to trash talking.
Okay. So here
right,
you go, guys.
See,
can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
So that's our prediction.
See, I am Hari Parankusam's only true friend in the world. I picked stars.
You and Satya both have picked stars.
Satya also picked stars. All right.
So, but yeah, Pokris, me and Gababai, Pokris, Chetan is also on Pokris.
We can ask Vijay also his picks for those games.
Yes, Vijay.
Vijay. I'm picking Pokris and Glads.
Pokris and Glads. Okay. KK, I'm your only best friend.
Next two.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolt SSK. So
no love for the SSK, poor guys.
Yeah, local boys. Yeah.
But this is gonna be a very good game. Local boys versus Punjab Lions. It took me some time to pick. I have to go through the scorecards and the
local boys were just lucky, in my opinion. I don't think the luck is gonna continue.
Arthur, they have Srinivas Elumalai. All you need is Elumalai to get set in one game, and the game is over. So if Srinivas Elumalai gets going,
we didn't talk about that. He actually got 5 wickets in this last game. We actually missed that. So if not bad, he'll get you with the ball.
Well, the last game, the 5 wickets was thankfully helped by the umpire, who gave the most horrendous call of DCL 2024. Let me tell you that. If that is this thing, if I come, I'm picking 10 wickets. If you're going to give me wickets for that kind of bowling, I'm picking 10 wickets in a game. Only thing is, give me that same umpire. I'll bowl all beamers and get the wickets.
All right. Do we have the predictions for what others are picking? Do we have that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get that site.
Okay.
So 1 minute.
But one of you can share the site too.
Yeah,
If you have
somebody
the
can.
ability. Anybody has the ability. I mean,
Let me try.
Not opening.
Kappa bhai, what's happening? What's all with those all long beard and this and that? Don't tell me you're still in tremendous
No,
soul trouble. I mean, also your voice is sounding off. Looks like you've been crying and crying. I hope that's not the case.
No, I have got some cold. So because of that,
Okay.
maybe my voice is a little different. But yeah, but the beard, I did not get the time. I'm very busy with the office work and then rush here and there. So
Okay.
So here is what you go.
Stars, Pokris.
Oh.
Okay. More Pokris. And that is understandable. A lot of those guys play this prediction in analyst. So.
Yeah. I think they did not predict still. Those guys will
Oh,
do last.
Yeah. So
You guys are asking for prediction.
when they predict, it will become what you call in NBA a slam dunk.
right.
So
Glad's
SSK
heavy favorites. Thunderbolts, yeah, overwhelming favorites. Local boys, okay.
Well, the Thunderbolts being overwhelming favorites over SSK makes no sense when SSK has had such a fabulous season. And trust me, if the Manju Express, what do you call it, the Yarapatu Express, if that gets going, Thunderbolts wickets would be flying. Only Avi will have the technical brilliance to negate that.
Well,
Oh, don't stop sharing. I want to see the other one. What is that? Punjab Lions versus this thing. I didn't see it.
Punjab Lions versus
local boy was heavy favorite,
Heavy
but
favorite.
that result surprised me. Even though I picked local boys, Punjab Lions had a better seating in the
Yes,
playoff.
Punjab Lions had a bye, right? Local boys did not have a bye, did they?
No.
No, they did
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Anyway, Punjab Lions also played a quarterfinal, right? So now they are
Punjab
playing
Lions
continuously.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, so these predictions are not going the way we thought they would go.
Yeah, there are no predictions which are like 50-50. It's still
50-50.
very one-sided. Which look, 194.
Yeah, that's why he. So all he has to do is call Satya and provide our friend Vicky's address, and we'll make sure the real thing and the fake thing are both delivered to the right addresses.
Party 169, 171.
I know he's catching up. He's going to...
Oh, you're not going to hear the end of it if he overtakes you, Parthiv.
If Chetan Bhai beat Parthiv will be giving some award to Chetan Bhai.
Yeah, I'll have to give him an award.
Some money back to him.
He came. He was. Didn't he miss like first week or something?
No, we gave him. We gave him that. We gave him the lowest of the analysts' record. All right, not the highest, but the lowest.
Okay.
So we were fair. We were fair. We tried to make sure that he doesn't lose interest and things like that. But yeah, I mean, anyway, I'm very confident that he cannot overtake me. That's all I care about right now. I don't want him having bragging rights over me.
If he overtakes you, he will be in India.
Oh my God, he'll be right at my doorstep.
Yes.
All right, guys. It's been a fabulous show. And
hey, Vijay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. It was fun. Good to see you. Oh, that reminds me. Let me ask you this. So, what's the deal? Next season we're going to have all these players come back, and Dynamites are going to have these players in the playoffs and things like that. I mean, can we expect something along those lines?
Yeah.
What's the scoop on Dynamites? Is some of your players going to leave you because of whatever happened this season? Give us some scoop.
I don't know if they will leave, but some of the our team is a little older and having a lot of responsibility with kids and everything. So again,
So they have effectively been shown the door.
No, nobody's shown the door.
So,
that's the problem in DCL. Nobody leaves on their own. That's the problem. Nobody.
No, yeah, I think Parthiv, our both franchises, we've been there playing forever. And
believe me, every year I have the discussion with my wife saying, okay, this is the last year, and then every year I go back and play.
Right. I think that's the because we don't play other leagues, right? Like a lot of my players don't play other leagues. This is the only league they play. So yeah, we will try to get good help from other players as well. So we'll see what happens. Working on it.
Well,
okay.
Next year, maybe a step forward. Maybe we can see some IPL players instead of PSL.
Maybe Rohit Sharma.
Who knows? All right. On that note,
Vijay might have contacted Dhoni. Dhoni was here in Nayan Harbour, right? So
yeah,
we
maybe
might have contacted him for the next year. DCL probably will.
Hey, by the way, in that picture, there's a person with a yellow shirt. Was that our friend Yogi Bhai?
No.
Or was I imagining things? No,
not in that picture. Yogi Bhai told us that he was going to host him, but then he had some death in the family, so he couldn't do it. But
okay.
Yeah. All right. I think
all right. Sounds good.
Time. So let's call it a night. Thank you again, Vijay, for joining. But yeah, looking forward for this weekend semi-finals, and hopefully we can do something special for the finals. Maybe we can do some matchups. I was thinking maybe we'll talk offline, but let's do some matchups for the finals.
Also, if the public has some suggestions, we are more than welcome to hear. I mean, in that WhatsApp community, people are welcome to join that, right? I mean, there is a WhatsApp community where a lot of people, and people have been asking interesting questions about, hey, is this out LBW? And we have been answering those questions, and in some cases, educating the thing. The idea is to educate and to get people to understand things better. At the same time, we piggyback on each other's ideas. So if somebody has a brilliant idea, I did get a good suggestion to watch Panchayat. I never even heard of that serial. Now that I've heard the serial, I'm going to go and watch it. But I'd like to thank Anwar
for sure.
What is that again?
It's got some memorable characters for sure. So yeah.
Okay, and if I watch it, I might get some ideas, and all of a sudden, those ideas start percolating into the show. So, but I'd like to thank Anwar for that. But we'll see. Thank you, guys.
That reaches final. Do we see you in the US, Michigan?
No, bro.
That reaches final.
No, bro. I'm out on a speaking engagement in Bihar. I am already booked, and I made sure I booked it for the first week of October, because actually I'm leaving on September 30th. I think 29th is your final, right? Or 28th is the final. 30th, I'm flying out. I told you, right? I'm actually a person in big demand for speaking engagements. So people call me to come and take some conferences and things like that. So I'm going on one of those conferences, but I made sure that it happens only after the DCL final got over. I was not sure if we'll be there in the final or not, irrespective of whether the final was not there, whether we are there or not. I know I was going to watch the DCL final. And then I said, okay, after that, I would like to go. So that's my commitment, all right? And I'll tell you on this show also, I think other than 1 week, I have not missed any other week. That's just been my commitment to DCL. So it's the same commitment all across.
Well, we'll also see you hopefully in the commentary as well in the finals. If Glads are playing, maybe as a guest commentator, but we'll probably get you in for some time at least.
We'll see. All right. Sounds good. Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye.